Hello, everybody.
All right, guys.
Fire away.
So, I don't want to talk, I guess we'll talk about bad things. Like, we're sitting there, everyone's watching the Cowboys, they missed 4 extra points, all these things get Chiefs fans all upset. That kicking hasn't been easy around the league. We've talked that a bunch of times this year. How do you feel right now as you head into the playoffs for your bye week with your operation, with your guys on that part?
I feel good where it's at right now. We've had great weeks, great days of practice, and I think we're on point right now. And I really felt bad for that kid. I mean, watching that game, that was a tough one.
The Jags game last time, they came out and onside kicked you guys. I mean, you pretty much have to expect anything from them all the time. Is it even more now? You have to be ready for anything this season?
I'd be really surprised if they came out with a surprise onside kick again. I mean, that would be something. But we watching that, we know that they'll do anything. So we are ready for everything and anything. So we practiced it. We looked at it, and we'll be on point with that stuff.
The league a couple of weeks ago reportedly sent out a memo to all the teams about the holders using a marker or some sort on the field and everything. I know it's not something, it's something that kind of goes on, but not really talked about too much. Is that a big impact, or? No,
not really. You could pick up a piece of grass and put it down. That's all you need to do, really. You just can't have a foreign, like a dime or something like that to bring on the field to put down. That's what they're looking for right there. So it really doesn't affect us. We don't do it.
There was a little uncertainty surrounding Harrison, and it seemed like he felt pretty good in the last game. How did he respond kind of coming out of that as far as confidence?
He responded well. I mean, his back, we had the spasms, and, he didn't have any issues, on the last day of practice during the week, and so we felt pretty good about it, but we still brought Matt with us just in case. But, it was a long shot that he wouldn't kick, so. And then he kicked great. He had a great warm-up and good pregame. No issues.
Dave, going back to what Todd was asking about Brett and how you felt bad for him.
Yeah. How
do you treat that in that situation?
That's a tough one. I mean, you got to try to get him settled down, go back to fundamentals, kicking the net, and just, you could really feel for what was going on. He missed 2 right, and then he over-exaggerated and pulled 1 left, and then I'm going to go back to what I always do, and then he, because it must have been feeling really good for him that, the ball was going right. He just felt right. It just wasn't coming off his foot right. So, I mean, it was, I was feeling for the kid. It really was. It was, for Bones, too. I mean, the special teams coordinator, Fossil. So, tough situation for them.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I know your job as a coach and all coaches is always to try to fix it, right? To always try to find the issue. You're in the playoffs now. It's not like building anyone's confidence for later in the season or when we need them. These are the games that count. There are times that it's on you to say, in every position coach, Andy, you can't do it. Like in that situation, was it on Fossil to go and say, look, don't go to him, it's not there? I mean,
I guess at a certain point you might want to. I'm not sure exactly what they were thinking. When they had the ball on a 20 and they didn't kick a field goal right there, and they went for it, and did they lose confidence? I don't know. But it seemed like it. But who knows? But they kept kicking him with the extra points. I think that was good. He needed to get a positive. He needed to have a positive in that game, and they just kept going to him. And but to answer your question, there probably would be a point. Like if I felt, talking to Bucker on the sideline, that mentally he was not there, I might have to say something to Andy. But if I felt like he was kicking well into the net and, Coach, I got this, I know exactly what I'm doing wrong, that kind of feedback, I would probably just, let him go with the next one.
Is that the hardest thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a feel thing for sure. I mean, it's, that's coaching. You got to make a decision, you go with it. And
does it help how long you've been together with Andy that, like I would think if you're a first-year coach, you want to tell the head coach, we're gonna get it done no matter what. At the end of the day, you're supposed to win the game, and if it's like, hey, we need to go.
I mean, if I think it's gonna, having a deal where it's gonna hurt us and we're not gonna win the game, I mean, obviously you say something, but if you're in that game, they were up. I mean, it wasn't even a close game, so you want to keep kicking the guy. I think they did the right thing there.
Have you ever been to that point in a game where you've gone to the head coach and said,
No, I can't remember. I was, as he was asking the question, I was trying to remember if I had any of those situations, and no, I've told them sometimes the wind's really picked up here. We can't, we were 35-yard line before, now we're 30, coach. I mean, we try to do that, and those things change, as the game goes on, but not a situation where a player, was struggling like that, and then you had to make that decision, so.
They've got a few guys playing in the first postseason game, and I'm just wondering if you hold up the Texans game of a few years ago of what a difference, your unit can make.
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is watch those games, and you see, like, the quarterback sneak. He gets the quarterback sneak, and that game is different. Or the other game, the other game with 4th and 1. The Miami game. The delay of game. Every play is so important. And then special teams on my end of it. Obviously that's critical. So, the guys watched it. We talk about it all the time, and we go back. We didn't go back and look at that game, but they know what happened in that game and how important it was for us to come out and make some bigger plays on special teams to even it up, and it worked out for us. So every play is important, and our guys are dialed in right now.
It looks like it may be kind of like today on Saturday, a little
Yeah.
rainy and all that stuff. Do you have different rules in place on trying to catch a ball or on a punt or anything like that when it's wet?
There is there might be a situation where it's so windy or wet that you just tell them, hey, we're gonna line up out there, but we're not gonna field them. We're gonna let it go. We're gonna get the ball back. That could happen. That's happened before with us. With me. So, but most of the time we're gonna, if the ball is kicked right to us, we're gonna field it. We're professional athletes. We're gonna try to make a play right there.
Last one, Haley.
Dave, real quick, kind of going along the lines of what everyone's saying, it's so important to have such a clean game in the playoffs. But looking back at the regular season, in your opinion, what was the cleanest game that your unit put together?
Probably last week. I would say last week was a solid, and that's a good thing. That it was right before the playoffs, and it's a good way to go in. We talked. That was our goal, was to be solid and clean in that game, and that's how we ended up.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right.